Hi, or should I say, Yahoo! Welcome to the What Did You Think podcast, episode
24.
24.
It's a Luigi.
As you can see, we have a very special guest, all the way from
The
New York
Mushroom
City.
Kingdom. Yeah, the Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, New York, Luigi, Lego Luigi. Luigi, I have a question for you.
Yahoo!
Do you know what we're gonna be talking? Okay, yeah.
I
Karen,
have a
we don't
question
know.
for you.
Oh, we're still in bit. Okay, what?
So, what's my favorite color?
If I had to guess, I'd say blue because of your suspenders.
Yippee! This is gonna be so enjoyable for the audio listeners.
Yeah. So yeah, no, we saw the Mario movie, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And I remember we were all us guys, we were all in like a group chat, like a FaceTime or like something on Xbox. I can't remember which. And we're
It's called
watching the
Discord.
Nintendo. Was it Discord or was it?
Pretty sure.
I don't know what it was, but everyone was there, and we're watching the Nintendo Direct, and they're going through some games. I'm not into it because I'm not like I'm not that big of a Nintendo fan. I've not really played a lot of Nintendo in my life. I think my wife is a bigger Nintendoer than I am. I see she's playing the Switch. She's playing Animal Crossing New Horizon right now. So
Yeah.
but so I don't
Animal.
know a lot of Nintendo, but when they mentioned that they're making a Super Mario Bros. Movie, of course, the only other one that we have to go off of is like the live action one that they made, uh, which is not good.
I have actually not
Um,
seen it, but I've heard the tales.
I've not seen it. I've seen the trailer, and it doesn't make me want to watch it.
Seems
So
like the only thing worse than the movie was the experience of making the movie, because I don't think anyone has anything good to say about it who worked on it.
yeah, I'm not even sure. I don't know. I know John Leguizamo is pretty upset by it,
Yeah,
by the new one
by the
because
new
of
one, because the
that
casting.
didn't. Yeah. But I mean, they kind of without we're not getting to the movie yet, but they do discuss they discuss the lack of accent that the characters have. Which whatever. But anyways, so we're watching the Nintendo Direct, and then they announced they're making this Mario movie, and of course we're like, oh, this will be interesting. And then they announced that it's being made by Illumination, and we're like, oh, not really interested, at least for me. And then they announced the cast, which is probably the biggest talk about this movie, you know.
I honestly
um
feel like if the cast wasn't what it was,
it
conversation
wouldn't.
would have died
Yeah,
out pretty quickly.
absolutely, no, you're so right. But like, and so we don't need to tell you the cast, but we will, because like they announced Chris Pratt and we're like, oh, okay, that's weird. Then they announced Charlie Day and we're like, oh yeah, I like Charlie Day, yeah. And it just kept on like getting better to like Anya Taylor-Joy, the like Keegan-Michael Key, Seth Rogen. It's like, and Jack
Jack
Black as
Black, yeah.
Bowser. So
It
yeah,
seemed
I
like they actually did a
absolutely.
pretty good job casting for pretty much everyone but Mario. Uh, the
I
Chris Pratt's choice was pretty controversial
So as far as like how we did in the movie, or
as far as public perception leading up to the movie. He
I
was
feel
not a
like if you
popular choice.
choose, I feel like you can't choose like anybody. You know what I mean? That's like setting someone up to fail. You know what I mean?
Well,
Because
there's definitely I don't know, man. I just
it could have been worse. They could have chosen like Tom Holland or something to be Mario. You know what I
that
mean? It's
seems
like
better to me, honestly.
choosing Tom Holland to be Mario. You think is better than Chris Pratt?
When I think of like Mario,
You think of
obviously
Tom Holland, don't you?
after I think Tom Holland, I think like uh colorful, fanciful, like just like exaggerated everything. And then when I think Chris Pratt, I think he's funny. I got nothing against Chris Pratt, but he's like kind of also like just like he's not Mario to me, you know?
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Mario is a fictional character. All right.
True. I
So
haven't,
no
you know
one
what? I
is
haven't
gonna do
thought
it.
about it like that before.
No. But also like I didn't care. As soon as I saw Illumination, I kind of already like excused it. I was like, okay, whatever. It's not gonna be good. Um, but I mean, I was excited to see it with my friends, and I'm sure you were. No, but I will say there's nothing that makes your experience better than sitting down waiting for the movie to start. Then you see your friend Cameron and his brother walk into the movie theater, and you see Cameron wearing his very homemade Mario costume, which which consisted of a red shirt, a brown hat, and a really huge fake mustache.
The brown
Um,
hat had a sticky note on it that had the letter M,
yeah.
which means effort was made. And the mustache was made up of a rectangle of fabric that was brown.
Wow. It
You
was
were
a very
there.
well done. I can't wait for us to go to Comic-Con and that be your costume. So
Yeah.
that'll be great.
It
Uh
was taped to my face, like with just regular tape.
oh, that's amazing. No, but I mean, Karen, what were you excited for this movie?
Yeah.
Okay, I was excited when they announced the cast. Don't get me wrong. But did you think like as far as hype goes, did you think this movie was going to be good?
Well, okay. I am not a 1,000,000% Illumination hater. All right. I think the Despicable Me movies are actually good. I think that the fan base surrounded around the Minions and like the merchandising can be annoying, but like the actual like movies of this, especially Despicable Me 1 was okay. It was not okay. It was good. It was just good. Staple of my childhood in that kind of way. I'm sure if I watched it now, I would probably have a different opinion, but
Right.
I don't got nothing wrong. I think that as is any Edgar Wright or Wes Anderson project, I think Sing is massively underrated. Uh, and because they're both in that movie. I
Oh,
thought Sing
Edgar
was
Wright and who?
Wes Anderson.
They're both in Sing.
They play characters in Sing, yeah. Not like main characters, but they have a couple lines. But I actually think that Sing is kind of overhated. It's fine, you know? And
Yeah. I can't believe
so
Matthew McConaughey won an Oscar for that movie.
did he actually?
No.
That's
He
crazy
won
that
it
he
for
did.
Dallas Buyers
It's
Club.
crazy that he did for real. Anyway, so yeah, I don't have anything huge against Illumination. Obviously, I think that the entirety of all of Western animation is kind of underutilizing the medium, but I don't have like a hatred for the studio. You know, I'm
Right.
passionately awaiting migration, you know. But
Oh, like somehow I didn't think Illumination could mess up trailers, but when the way they show this trailer for their new movie coming out called Migration, they're showing clips of Despicable Me and everything. And at first I'm like, oh, they're making another Despicable Me movie. Like fun, you know?
yeah,
Like they're sticking to what's working. Um, and then like they slowly start showing every movie Illumination has ever made, and it's just like okay, just to show a movie about like some birds or whatever. But I will say, as long as Illumination exists, Pharrell Williams will always have a career. Because I think Illumination just straight up bought Pharrell Williams. Like they just have him in their back pocket now for him to sing a few songs for every single one of their movies because yeah. He
yeah.
didn't
My
sing
favorite
this
part of the
time.
Mario movie was when Pharrell Williams started singing "Because I'm super clap along if you feel like a Super Mario Bro."
You could have
Because I'm
stopped.
super
No,
clap
no, you don't need to
along
keep
if you
going.
feel
Ugh,
like
stop. That is catchy.
superstars are your flow.
Yeah. No, but I will say, I guess we can kind of get into the
You can
movie.
contact me, Illumination, if you're interested.
Right. Also, yeah, I know how much I hate elimination, but if you want to cast us in your next, if we'll gladly be in migration if you guys want to do
Yeah.
that.
um,
um,
but yeah, actually, to answer your question for real, I was, you know, I was more intrigued than I would say excited for the Mario movie. I wasn't like marking down the days or anything, but I was genuinely interested to see how it would turn out because Mario famously does not have a story whatsoever. So I don't know how they turn that into a movie.
I thought his story consisted of saving Princess Peach and
Well, yeah,
racing.
it has a story in the way that Pac-Man has a story. You know, collect the dots and don't get hit by the ghost. Like
True.
it's just kind of one thing. You know, it's a
S-
yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, I wasn't excited. I was excited. I just did not think it was going to be good at all. Uh, and I was kind of wrong. Um, and I guess we can kind of get into the movie if you want to.
Yahoo!
Okay.
Mushroom
Um,
Kingdom. Here we
here
come.
we come. Well, going like I said, seeing Cameron in the Mario costume gets me super hyped. You know, I'm really ready for this.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and I think as we're sitting down, I realize, oh, this is a kids movie. There were so many kids in our theater, and honestly, they were not bad. They really weren't. Like,
Yeah. Round of applause
I,
for the kids in the theater who didn't
yeah,
yell and scream and cry the whole time.
like, and I've been, I don't know if you have, but I've been in movies where, like I said, to you, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast. Sarah and I went to go see the live action Lion King in theaters, and we got kids playing with like remote control cars and stuff or whatever in the theater. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It was like a McDonald's play place or
You know,
whatever.
generally speaking, the experience that I've had with kids in theaters have always been like, you know, unobtrusive,
Mhm.
in kids movies. In kids movies, they're fine. The worst ones are when it's a quiet place and they're eating cereal and right next to you, and crying the whole time because they're 2 years old at a quiet place.
And they're
Anyway,
just scared to their minds.
you were
That's
saying?
so funny. But no, yeah. The kids were not bad at all, at least in our theater. There was no one like running around, and I actually enjoyed the kids being really into the movie. I will say,
I do think my favorite reaction from the kids was the very first 5 minutes of the movie. Mario shows up and one of the kids goes, "It's Mario!"
it's yeah, dude, they were shocked. They were not ready for this. Uh, biggest yeah. No, the kid, like, you would have thought it was like some MCU movie, like Endgame or something, with how these kids were reacting when
Hmm.
because like there is we're gonna be talking about spoilers, I guess, like, you know, I mean, so, you know, just
Spoiler
let you
alert:
know.
Mario defeats Bowser.
Yeah. But at the end they like tease Yoshi's egg and all the kids are like, "It's Yoshi, it's Yoshi." I'm like, yeah, yeah, it is. I would have gotten hyped if I saw Waluigi though. He's my guy.
I was
So
thinking the post-credit scene was going to be Rosalina, which for all
yeah,
you uninitiated is the princess in Mario Galaxy. But
but we didn't. This movie, for me, as it's going about its thing, because it starts off with like these penguins or whatever fighting Bowser, and like immediately when that happens, we get our first taste of possibly some of the worst music choice I've ever heard in a movie. Um, I know Elvis is bad because it's weird, you know what I mean,
mhm.
and it doesn't fit. Same thing with this. It's like this doesn't fit. And you've probably heard this before, but Mario was littered with a bunch of 80s music. And I get that they used it because, oh, I'm assuming the game came out in like the 80s. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So since the game came out in the 80s, we're like, oh guys, we can play really good 80s music and 90s music.
I have a fan
Well,
theory. I have a theory about why the music in the movie is so 80s.
I have a theory too, but I want you to say it.
I think that
You.
the movie was originally supposed to take place in the 80s because of the music and because Mario plays the NES and because they have a CRT TV and they're worried about television ads and all that stuff. But
Uh,
in one of the scenes, I think they realized they could not set it in the 80s because the finale consists of bullet bills going through New York City and blowing up. And if there's a city like skyline shot with the One World Trade Center in it, and which guarantees it's at least post 2001.
yeah.
I feel like they wanted it to be the 80s, but they couldn't have bullet bills wreaking havoc in pre 9/11 New York City.
Yeah, or for me, I'm thinking maybe it's just because Illumination likes 80s music. With Despicable Me 3, a lot of the same songs that they use in Despicable Me 3 are 80s, is like all 80s music. Like Take on Me is used 3 times in the Despicable Me 3 movie,
And in The
and
Last of Us 2, another
it's
Illumination project.
Yeah, my favorite one. Dude, they could have imagine if The Last of Us was just animated in illumination
Yeah.
style. Like that'd be so bad. Anyways, so I just think like it's the whole uh not curse thing, but I honestly blame Guardians of the Galaxy for like showing that we can make these modern movies with
Here's the deal. It's
80s and
not Guardians of the
90s
Galaxy's
music.
fault. It's people who think that they can just copy and paste and have the same effect. Because Guardians
Exactly.
uses it
Like,
for impactful story reasons.
and I will say one of my favorite movies ever, Megamind. Uh, they use Mr. Blue song, but since it came out before Guardians of the Galaxy, I think it's okay. So, uh, no,
If it
they
works
use
for the
it.
story, then it works.
It
That's my
works,
opinion.
in my opinion, because they were referencing 80s video games when the song was playing. So,
Well, the entire Mario movie is a reference to an 80s video game. So there's your entire
anyways,
argument down the
anyways,
drain. Just like
anyways,
Mario later in the movie.
but but it's not Megamind. So, or because it is Megamind, that's why I like it. Anyways, so they use 80s music throughout this whole movie, and I wish they let the composer cook like more. I wish they let him do his own thing instead of just like
Yeah.
overlapping fight scenes with whatever.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, Cameron, as someone who loves Mario so much, uh
He's my favorite Italian plumber, other than maybe
I,
Luigi.
yeah, Luigi's pretty good. Um, what do you think? Wait, hold on. Are Wario and Waluigi Italian plumbers also?
Okay, so I actually don't know enough about the lore to tell you what their occupation is other than villain versions, but
Yeah.
uh I think they might be cousins. I think Wario is Mario's cousin or uncle or something. And then Waluigi is maybe Waluigi and Wario are cousins. All I know is that
Yeah.
the only reason Waluigi existed is because in Mario Tennis, Wario needed a double. So that's it.
Wait, so I thought Wario and Waluigi were brothers.
I don't know. Well, like Waluigi's never. I think he's never been in a mainline Mario game. The only time he's been a
Man,
villain is in the Dance Dance Revolution Mario mix on the GameCube.
you know your sources.
I do. Unlike you, Mr. Ben, can you go ahead and quote what you said to me and Isaac and Eli on your experience with Nintendo?
What do
If
you
you
mean?
forget, I'll tell you. You told us that your only experience with Nintendo was that you like to play Kazuki in Smash Brothers.
It's I now know it's like Yakuza or something like that.
It's also not. It's Kazuya.
Kazuya Kazuki. Either way, that
But
kind of proves my point on how
no, yeah,
much
I thought it was a
I
wonderful point.
I
Uh,
know because I don't even play Super Smash Bros that much. It's like I play Mario Kart sometimes, no, but it's not like all the time. I think the number one Nintendo game I've played the most is like probably Kirby or something like that.
yeah,
Or I guess if is Kingdom Hearts now Nintendo?
no, it never was. It was not them.
Okay, well then yeah, it's probably like Kirby or something like
Yeah,
that.
no,
Or
it's
Star
it's all
Fox.
good. So as a Nintendo, I wouldn't say I'm a Nintendo fan. I'm just a video game fan, and they happen to
Hmm.
make video games. But I will say the there is an attention to detail, and I know I've heard this movie described as just an Easter egg movie, which I'm sure if you want to be cynical about it, you could say that. But I think it's more of like a just like a a detail, like there's just detail. Okay, yeah, it's Easter eggs, but it's not like Easter eggs are the point. I think the point is just like pretty colors. But
Well,
uh
as far
I
as Easter goes, that was
hmm,
uh
when was it?
Sunday.
Yahoo! Easter! I'm gonna find the Yoshi eggs.
The Romans when they opened up the tomb and Jesus isn't there.
Mamma
Mamma
mia!
mia.
Wah, wah,
Uh,
wah, 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 wah.
um
But
the,
meanwhile, the human
have
race
you
is like bada 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 bada
have you
bada
seen the
da da da
paper?
da
Have you seen this
da.
guy? He turned in some college paper and it was like an essay about Mario stomping on the turdies. It's like the survey starts off with everyone knows Mario's freaking cool. It's like terrible opening. And this teacher's like correcting everything. It's like when Mario enjoys stomping on killing turds. It's like, oh my word, I love that so much. I saw it for the first time today. I was cracking up. But
But
yeah,
as terms of
Mario.
Nintendo Easter eggs go, I'd say analyzing and looking back at like the backgrounds and the details in the backgrounds, the entire movie is very thoughtfully made where like the background always has something going on. But the first like 20 minutes where they're still in Brooklyn actually has the most to look at in terms of specifically Nintendo Easter eggs. Because there's things like they're in the Punch Out bar and they're like there's the Wrecking Crew and stuff. These are all
They were.
yeah, these are all Nintendo Easter eggs and stuff like that. And once you get to the Mushroom Kingdom, it's all just Mario stuff. And so there's less to look out for. You're not going to find like Link, you know, hanging out in Mario Land.
Right.
But yeah, it's interesting, but I don't think it's like the point of the movie because if it was, they would have not gone to the Mushroom Kingdom. They would have stayed in Brooklyn the whole time and just looked around at all the Mario stuff. I mean, all the Nintendo
And,
stuff.
and speaking of the Brooklyn part, uh honestly one of the worst parts of the movie, in my opinion. For me, because I didn't understand that, all those references. But it takes so long for the movie to get going, and it's only an hour and a half movie, and I felt like it was just kind of slow getting there. I think finally when they get to the Mario Karts, like that's when I was like interested as I
Yeah.
can be, because this movie does lack a good story. It's like really, really basic. And I guess it does the trick for a little kids movie. Uh but like there are better kids movies to watch, I think, that have better messages and are done better. But I mean, we're not critiquing those movies. We're critiquing Mario.
Yeah, I think the question asked for this is does this movie stand on its own two legs if it doesn't have Mario? If it's just the story and all that stuff,
Absolutely not.
no, it falls flat on its face. It has no legs to stand on. This is one of the most predictable and on the nose stories of all time, and
And
it gets a pass for
it's
me,
it's
honestly.
saved by like two things. Okay. Well, a few things, three things I'll say. The cast, it's saved by the cast because of who's in it.
Yeah.
It's saved by the IP of it being Mario, and it's saved by single-handedly just Jack Black's performance in general. Um, and I like okay,
Saved by the
the
cast and
Peaches,
Jack Black.
yeah, exactly. No, but hear me out though. Before we get into like the Peaches song and everything, um, Jack Black was like one of the best marketers for this movie. Where like when it's talk shows and stuff, he's like dressed up as Bowser and all that. Like it
Hmm.
is, he truly. I don't know if he was like really passionate about this or it's just Jack Black. Either way though, um,
That's Jablinski games to you, good sir.
that's true. I'm just happy that like if Jack Black got me excited to watch the movie, and I was like, yes. And when I would every single interview I'd see of him in a Bowser costume or in a suit that looks like Bowser, like super sick.
Right.
Like it's a lot of fun to see. And honestly, Anya Taylor-Joy wore her like Princess Peach motorbike outfit, which was really cool. I wish the cast had more fun like them. But I guess we can, since I did mention the performances, um, we can talk about the elephant in the room, which is Chris Pratt. Is he good? Is he not? Well, there's, not gonna be a definite answer, but I don't think he's bad at all in
I
this
mean, he
movie.
he's just like I mean, he is the movie in terms that he's fine. And if
Yeah,
this was his performance in something that wasn't Mario, like if he wasn't wearing the red overall, I mean the blue overalls and the red hat, this would be one of the most unremarkable performances of all time. But again, the movie doesn't need that. I think
no.
it's it's just kind of flashing lights and colors for kids. The kids were having a good time. I was having a
Mm,
good time because I am a baby brain person. Uh and it's not as distracting as you would think it would be.
mm, yeah, it's just, I don't know. If this is like a perfect movie to put on for your like 3-year old or whatever. But yeah, this is super forgettable, only for the part that like only besides the Peaches part. I know Sarah enjoyed this movie. Do you want to come over here and talk about it?
Yo,
No?
special guest Sarah, put her on the mic. Does she have a quick like Sarah's quote of the day kind of thing?
What's your quote of the day like for this movie? She says she likes this movie. How many thumbs up?
We don't do numbers.
I don't know. Okay, she's freaking out. We gotta get the spotlight off of her
All
because
right.
there's too much pressure. But no. Sorry
He's
for you
not cut
fans
out
that were
for the
really wanting to
business.
know. Sorry to our number one fan Isaac that was really wanting to.
Yeah, yeah. Isaac would have done it. Number one fan Isaac would have done it. That's what's crazy about it.
No. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, this is like a perfect movie to put on for like just little kids and they'll be fine. But I think this movie is super forgettable. And I mean, besides the Peaches song that Jack Black does sing, I even think that was overdone because they did it again. I think they should have just kept it at the one time they did it. But I mean, it's still a great song nonetheless. I know some people don't care for it, which is crazy because
Well, I'm sure there are
uh
people who don't like other things that are objectively good, so it's fine.
sure. Like I enjoy it when actors are having a good time. And I think you could tell that Jack Black was just like having fun singing this.
Yeah.
It's like such a simple song and it's so perfect and no chance it's getting a nomination. but
Okay, I don't think it will,
but
but
if it
it
does,
should.
then yes, I'll be
Listen.
extremely
We
happy.
have to. For far too long, there's been a trend of movies just having an entire movie. There's no songs in it, and then they'll put an original song in the credits and get a nomination for it.
Mhm.
This is plot relevant, which I think
Yeah.
should be. I think that should
A
be
requirement.
requirement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not to like perfect. But no, and then we'll have to live with in a life where the Super Mario Bros is now Academy Award nominee Super Mario Bros.
We already live in a world where the Suicide Squad has won an Oscar. All right. I'm
Yeah.
fine with this. I'm fine with this.
No, this movie will definitely be nominated for best animated, but I don't think it'll win. I don't
Honestly,
think it
if it was an
deserves to.
animation contest, if it was like a turn off the sound, don't pay attention to the story, look at the movie, it could win. This has some really amazing animation.
But you do have Spider-Verse coming out this year.
Oh, it's not
And
gonna win, is what I'm saying. But
yeah,
and I
exactly.
forgot about that. But I mean, like in terms of just the visual appeal of the movie, it's very beautiful.
It looks great, and for it being Illumination, it does look different than its other things. In the beginning, when there's like this pet dog, that's the only thing that looks Illumination-y, and it's probably just because they used like one of the same models from. They probably used one of the same dogs from Secret Life of Pets,
I
but I
think
mean,
that's the thing. Because I was just thinking
I think it's probably a
uh,
reference. They're connecting the universe.
Illumination's homework was done for them in terms of character design and all that stuff. The worlds
Mhm.
and the designs and all that stuff was already pre-made. Everything that's Illumination original, so the dog, the like side, like not the side characters, the like just random people walking around Brooklyn, all that stuff, it looks kind of not that great.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
everything that they didn't have to design themselves looks incredible. And so
They just got to add color. It was like
yeah,
a paint by numbers thing. It's
right.
like they get this movie. Oh yeah. No, I mean, but I guess there's not much more to talk about this movie. It's like
It really isn't.
a really extremely basic story, uh, and just not that fun in my opinion. Like there's a few things, but am I gonna watch this again? No. It's like I don't think
Right.
there's any shot at me watching this again.
I
Uh
wouldn't be opposed to this like getting a sequel or anything. What I really want this to
yeah.
do is I want this to open the door for Nintendo, who has historically been very opposed to movie adaptations.
Yeah.
I want them to feel comfortable making stuff. So then now we can get stuff like a Legend of Zelda show or movie. We can get a
Mhm.
Metroid stuff because they have a lot of IP that's just ripe
Yeah,
for the picking for adaptations.
I
And
agree.
I hope that this does well enough for them to see that there's actual value in it.
Yeah. Well, Cameron,
I'm
what
not
are your
done. I'm
final
not done. My final thoughts are thank you for asking, Ben. My final thoughts are this movie's okay. It's you know what, like it's a Mario movie. You put Mario on a screen, you let him run around a bit, and it's fine. It looks great. Peaches is the song is great. But if it doesn't look interesting to you and you're not that connected to Mario, you have no reason to watch this.
it's a pretty average movie.
Yeah.
and you are not missing a lot. Like the fact that the Peaches song is on YouTube, like
Yeah.
um,
This is one of
but
those movies you could get the same effect of if you just watch one of those TikTok recaps. The plumber man
yeah,
goes into the Mushroom Kingdom.
yeah. I will say a few things. I like Charlie Day a lot in this, and
Underutilized for sure.
Seth Rogen is not that good in this, in my opinion, because he just kind of plays himself. It like did not act with his voice.
I can't do his laugh.
No, Isaac does a pretty good job.
Isaac does a great job. Next time he's on, we gotta have him do the laugh.
Hey, do the Rogan.
Say the line. I have a fun fact for you, unless you were still talking.
No, I'm not. What's the fact?
Do you know the name of the CEO of Nintendo of America?
Isn't it Bowser or something like that?
It's Doug Bowser.
Doug Bowser.
So
yeah.
I have two theories. He either goes into work every day making like diabolical plans to tear down the company and take Princess Peach for himself, or he
Okay.
goes to work every day so like incredibly depressed that his life's work is just making video games where he has to be the villain and he wants to be recognized as a good guy.
That's sad. That's sad. I like to think when he's alone in his office and like the place closes, he like takes off his mask and he's just a turtle.
He's just a turtle. You think he wrote Peaches? You think that spoke to him? I think he wrote
yeah. He was dreaming it like, I've got
it. I gotta get Jack Black on this.
Him and Jack Black were sleeping in the same bed. I've got it.
Honey, are you okay?
I'll sing it. Come back to bed. I can't. I'm right. What is it? Peaches, call Peaches. Oh, I've got it.
Get the piano
that they have. Jack Black, get out the piano. Okay. The piano wakes up in the bed right next to him.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cameron, you're going to Florida next week.
Next week I'm going to Florida. So we're probably not going to do a movie review next week. If there's anything, which there is a big chance there won't be anything, we will do a not movie review. We're thinking like a tier list or something, but we haven't really narrowed it down.
We've got no clue what
we're
we're
just
doing.
Gonna do a fun little thing and we'll figure it out. Yep. But until then, I'll see you on the flip side.
Peaches, 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 peaches. Ah! Oh, yeah! Ah! Peaches, 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 peaches. Ah!